Hi everyone, Chillax here and welcome back to another Anchor Panic video. So this video marks part 13 out of this 15-part series in which we go over in chronological order every unreleased CN operator that we can look forward to eventually on the global server. And as you can see before you, we have Gleam, who is an icebreaker, who even though she is not a limited character, she was released September 2025 of this year on the CN server alongside the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is one of the most popular holidays in the Asian countries. And so for this reason, Gleam, I feel her kit seems very overpowered, and as we will show at the end of this video, I will play for you a arena PvP replay on Bilibili showcasing Gleam on a heavily defensive ice quantum hybrid team. So without further ado, let's begin. As you can see before you, this is the splash art of Gleam. She is an icebreaker, as I mentioned before. She's basically a photographer, a really hot photographer, and she, alongside her operator release came with a skin that you could purchase, and this is the Prison Dreamscape skin, which is very spicy. And as I mentioned before, she was released during the Mid-Autumn Festival of the Asian countries. So we have some promotional art that I wanted to share with you guys. This is one of them with the main character from the game, as well as Firefly, who is an SR operator. And here's another really adorable promotional art that has Diamond, one of the SR operators, and Firefly, who's the other SR operator. I thought this was really adorable. And then I also wanted to show that when this event comes out on the global side, we can expect to get a free limited edition frame just by logging in on day one of this event. So for those of you guys who like limited edition skins or frames that even as a free-to-play player you can collect, this is one of them. So as you can see here, on day one you can get this really adorable Red Lantern Mid-Autumn Festival profile frame. Alright, so let's get to the meat of this video, which is what she does. So as you can see here, this is her character page, really hot lady, and she's an icebreaker who was released on a standard banner, which means that even after her banner ends, you can still lose the 50/50 to her whenever summoning on a raid up banner. And her kit revolves entirely around generating shards. So, with her talent 1 Mimicry, at the start of each turn, Gleam gains 1 stack of shard, max 6 stacks. Whenever a shard is gained, Gleam also gains, for 2 turns, plus 6% speed per shard gained, as well as plus 10% damage reduction per shard gained. You get both of these per shard, and you can stack up to 4 times simultaneously. Yeah, so it states this because you cannot get more than 6 times 4, 24% speed, or more than 40% damage reduction. Yeah, because that would be too broken. So Gleam does get pretty fast. And when she has 4 or more shards, after Gleam casts her energy burst, all shards are consumed, and she ends up summoning a mimic on the enemy side of the field, targeting the primary enemy, who will, I believe, be the frontmost enemy, front row enemy. And the mimic properties inherits the primary target stats, but with 40% reduced attributes, like HP, attack, etc. I kind of wonder if the mimic attacks on behalf of the enemy. Yeah, cannot be selected as a primary target, immune to buffs, debuffs, and battlefield destruction. Exists for 2 turns. And you guys may be wondering, why would you want to summon a mimic on the enemy side of the field, especially if the mimic is going to be hitting your team as well, right? Well, the reason is because the damage interaction of the mimic is that damage taken by the Mimic is shared across all enemies, and the damage the Mimic takes is increased by 5% per shard consumed. So if, say, by the time she energy bursts she consumed 4 shards, the Mimic will take 20% additional damage. And so in a way you can think of the Mimic as like a double-edged sword. Yes, you'll be taking more damage, but the Mimic will also be taking more damage that is shared across all enemies. So if, say, the enemy, the enemy will typically, in terms of positioning, hide their DPSs in the back, so you're unlikely going to be creating a Mimic of their DPS. Most likely you'll be creating a Mimic of the tank. Yeah, so you shouldn't be taking that much more damage even though you've just created a 6th enemy, if you will. And then for talent 2, at the end of Gleam's action, if she's not under control effects, she will enter a mirrored state. Now, while in the mirrored state, she will target the ally directly in front of her, and that's explained in the mirror targeting rules. She mirrors the ally directly in front of Gleam, and in terms of targeting priority, she will target the ally directly in front of her first, but if there's no ally in front of her, she will then randomly prioritize mirroring an ally within the 3x3 grid around her. And if there's no ally there, then she'll just randomly pick an ally of the remainder to mirror. So someone will get mirrored. While in a mirrored state, Gleam cannot be the target of skills. She's immune to enemy damage, debuffs, and control effects. Her position cannot be changed by operators like Cardiac. And she will stay in this state until Gleam's next turn begins. The benefits to the mirrored ally, whoever's in front of her, that ally will gain 25% of Gleam's attack, and she will also gain 40% damage reduction, which is a lot. The position of that ally is locked and cannot be moved. Now, early termination, if the mirrored ally takes lethal damage or is forced off of the field, the mirror state ends immediately. Yeah, so very powerful second talent. And then basic attack is just a single target attack in the front row. And then, her skill 1 is also single attack, but worthy to note is she applies 3 stacks of frost onto the enemies. Frost is a debuff that's currently in the game where if you have the ice homology activated, whenever your ice operators hit the enemy, they will apply 1 stack of frost, which is a debuff that slows down the enemy's speed by 5% per stack. And at 6 stacks of frost, that enemy will also have 25% decreased ice resistance, so they'll take more ice damage. Skill 2 is something that is not on the JP server yet, so we will unlikely have this for a long while. And then for her energy burst, this is an AoE attack that on the first hit applies a frostbite debuff on the primary target for 2 turns. And the primary target, I presume, will be determined by her targeting, right? Most likely it's going to be a front row unit, 1 target. That primary target will have 8% lowered ice resistance, so they'll take more ice damage by you. And they also get minus 15% damage reduction, so they'll just flat out take more damage by any elemental damage that you do to them. Ascension 6 I think is really broken. So with Ascension 3 or 6, at the start of each turn, Gleam will gain 1 shard. And this is amazing, right? Because the shards, as we know, each stack of shard grants 6% speed and 10% damage reduction to Gleam. She already gets 1 at the start of each round with her talent 1. She gets a second one potentially with Ascension 3 or 6. And while in the mirrored state, so this is after she energy bursts, right? Or after she acts, other allies gain plus 15% attack. as well as 18% damage reduction. The mirror state bonuses will be removed when the mirror ends. The mirrored ally also takes 30% reduced damage from all sources during their action. So yeah, it's just like a really insane way to accelerate her kit, as well as to provide some offensive buffs and damage reduction for your entire party. And then her signature Sigil, it gives her some base attack, speed, 5.6% speed, and 10% damage reduction. And when equipped by Gleam, she starts the battle with 50% pre-filled energy, allowing her to energy burst on turn 1, which as I mentioned before is an AoE attack that debuffs the primary target. And then she will also gain 2 additional shards at the start of battle. So actually, theoretically, if you had her signature Sigil and her Ascension 3 along with her talent 1, she can have 4 shards on round 1, which allows her to already you know, and she'll burst too, right? So she'll basically already have a mimic on the enemy side of the field and be just applying insane amounts of speed and damage reduction buffs to herself, not to mention all the other things that she provides with her kit. And after Gleam's energy burst, she has a 60% chance to immediately gain 1 shard. Yeah, so very, very powerful signature Sigil. So in summary, Gleam is an icebreaker centered around shard generation and mirror mechanics. She passively builds shards each turn, gaining speed and damage reduction, and also converting those shards into pressure and control through her energy burst and talents rather than relying on raw burst damage. She's definitely the perfect setup to protect your allies and turtle up so that you can carry out your game plan, because she also enhances the damage output of your damage dealers, right? Her first talent allows her to consume shards after using her ultimate to summon a frontline mimic. The mimic inherits weakened enemy stats, cannot be targeted or destroyed, and shares damage across all enemies, effectively amplifying team damage while disrupting enemy formations. And her second talent enables a mirrored state after she acts, making Gleam untargetable and immune to crowd control and damage. During the state, a key ally is mirrored, receives bonus attack damage reduction, allowing Gleam to protect and empower the teammates, while temporarily removing herself from danger. Gleam's skill sets focuses on ice damage and frost stacking. Skill 1 provides consistent single target pressure with heavy frost application, while her ultimate deals AoE ice damage and lowers the ice resistance and damage reduction of the primary target. So overall, Gleam excels at control-oriented ice breaking with strong survivability and team support. She fits best in ice-focused compositions. I would put an asterisk there because, as we'll see in the Billy video, PvP video that I will show you, Gleam can potentially be in a hybrid ice quantum team. Yeah, so anyway, she's valuable in any team that values frost uptime, damage amplification, and safe tempo control over immediate bursts. She definitely enables the turtle comp with her peak potential gated behind pay to win upgrades. Yeah. So her ascensions definitely make her really broken. But I think as a free-to-play player, if you just get 1 copy of her along with her signature Sigil, I think Gleam will already provide insane value for her. And so now, before we end the video, I want to show you guys a video of someone playtesting Gleam on defense against one of the meta-defining teams at the time that Gleam was released. Yeah, so let's go over that. I think it's this video here. Yeah, this is the video. Let me recenter it and let me just kind of paint a picture regarding the situation here. Okay, so the defender, who's the uploader of the videos, on the right, and the attacker is on the left. So you can think of it like the old meta against the experimental new meta that features Gleam. The old meta was a quantum ice hybrid that runs, and I had to write this down because there's a lot of skins. The PvP players in this game bedazzled their lineup with skins. I couldn't recognize some of the heroes. So the attacker on the left is running Jade, who's an ice healer, Zephrine, who is a limited quantum breaker, Lang Jiao, who is an ice stun operator, Plenilune, who is an ice defender, as well as Turn, who is a quantum support. Okay, yeah, so a very offensive speed tuning team, right? You're running the premium speed tuners, which are Zephrine and Turn. Both of them are capable of buffing the damage output as well as the speed of the entire party. So it's a very fast offensive team. And you're using Zephrine as your hyper carry, who can also cheat death. You run Lang Jiao as a crowd control, right? You basically freeze the enemies. You have Plenilune to basically protect your team, and then you have Jade to provide heals, shields, offensive buffs for your ice operators, and cheat death in case it's needed. Now on the defensive lineup on your right, we're running still the ice shell, right? Jade for ice healing, Plenilune as an ice defender, and instead of Lang Jiao, you're going to be running Gleam, who she doesn't crowd control by like Lang Jiao, but she offers a lot of defensive and offensive support. She's like a Abyssal 2.0, like 3.0. And then you have Flicker as another frontline tank. And of course we have Zephrine, who's our premium quantum breaker / DPS. She's basically a hyper carry. And notice that Plenilune in the middle in the bunny suit is positioned directly in front of Gleam. So when Gleam enters her mirrored state, she will be providing a 40% damage reduction and I think it was like a 30% attack buff to the mirrored enemy. But the main reason is you just want your defender, who is basically shielding your team from all these attacks, to have an additional 40% damage reduction. And that's really broken. And when I play this video, I want you to notice two things. I want you to look for the shards, and I want you to look for the ghost on the enemy side. So let's go ahead and play this out. It's at 15 times speed. I have this video, I'll set it at half speed, but the uploader of this video did 15x the speed of this. So let's get going here. So, you know, Zephrine starts at the start of the round. Both Zephrines activate their passive. And yeah, Plenilune's activating her passives, and Gleam, it went really fast, but Gleam also enacted her passives. I noticed that a lot of new operators now, they have start of the round effects, allowing you to basically set up your team in different ways before the battle begins. So definitely we have power creep at its finest. Okay, at this point, Gleam did her energy burst. Her turn has ended. She's entered a mirrored state. And if I was to slow this down at some point, the perfect time, yeah, there was a ghost right there, and that's the mimic. Yeah, the mimic. So at this point, at the end of round 1, we already have a mimic in place to basically serve as a what's it called, the something doll, the pincushion doll, that whenever you hit it with like an AoE attack, the damage is spread across all enemies, and that mimic has lowered stats, right, of whoever the frontmost enemy was. Yeah, so as you can see here, when it comes to an ice team versus an ice team, thanks to Plenilune, the ice and Jade, the ice teams tend to be pretty resilient. Yeah, so there's a lot going on here. But look how little damage that you're taking on the defensive end, because you have so many defensive buffs from the shards. And also Plenilune. Yeah, Plenilune does a ton of damage. So this is where the defender starts breaking serve. He's already picked up a couple of KOs on the enemy's back lane. Yeah, look how little we're shrugging off the damage, guys, on the defensive side. Okay, and this is where I think, yeah, we're basically stabilizing at this point. Yeah, very powerful. Attackers like Monka trying to stay alive here. And this match is only 3 turns long, but there have been heavy casualties on the attacker side already, because there's so many cheat deaths with, you know, Zephrine having a cheat death with her golden feather, and then Plenilune or Jade offering cheat deaths for, you know, your party. So anyways, that pretty much wraps it up for this video, guys. I hope you found this informative. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Gleam and what you think of the current CN meta. This video was recorded end of September of this year, so about 2 months ago. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss another video. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.